Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 20. As today, we have a very special episode of the series. Something I've been waiting to say since this series started is we got playoff baseball today. Games 1 and 2 of the NLDS against the San Diego Padres. We had a very good season, finishing with a record of 102-60, the top record in the National League, which was obviously good enough for the 1 seed, the second best record in all of baseball behind the Boston Red Sox. It's been a fairly close race throughout the year, but really ever since like the middle of June, we were in control of the 1 seed for the most part. And while teams like mainly, I guess, Milwaukee, Arizona to an extent, kept it close for most of the season, it really did feel like that the Pirates were the best team in the National League this season, and I would imagine are probably the favorites to represent the NL in the World Series. But we got to win 2 playoff series before we can even talk about the World Series. So in the wild card game, the Padres took on the Brewers, and surprisingly, San Diego won in dominant fashion, 8-0. Their lineup absolutely killed it, 16 hits. The Brewers scored all 3 of their runs in the 9th inning of this game. San Diego was mainly led by a dominant performance on the mound from Joey Lucchesi. 8 shutout innings of work from Lucchesi. The bullpen allowed 3 runs in the 9th, but it doesn't really matter. They were able to get the win anyway. Noah Syndergaard was all right on the mound for the Brewers, but the team we've been competing with for the division pretty much the whole season is now out of playoff contention. So I have a few wild facts to throw out about the Pirates in the playoffs. 2 things that don't really go too well together. So the first thing is that the Pirates have not won the division in 30 years. This is their first division win since 1992. And to put things in perspective, they were not in the NL Central in 1992. That's back when they were in the NL East. So it's been a while since the Pirates have won the division. They've made 3 postseason appearances since then, wild cards in 2013, 14, and 15. And if you look at the 2015 roster, nobody on that team is still on the Pirates now, 7 years later, which is pretty crazy. So our first playoff series as division champions in 30 years is against this San Diego Padres team, a very talented squad. They have a lot of big names, including Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the young budding superstars in baseball, one of the top shortstops in the game, a guy who can really do everything and is one of the top players on this team. Can't forget about Franmil Reyes. Reyes is a guy who opened his career off with the Padres, then was traded back in 2019 to the Indians, and then a couple years later, in-game, was traded back to the San Diego Padres. And he has been very good. Franmil Reyes is an absolute cheat code in this game. He was in the MVP running for most of the season. I think he finished 3rd behind our main man Josh Bell and Juan Soto. The Padres also got the $300 million man, Manny Machado, who has had his best season in a Padre uniform. His most home runs, or most RBIs, best average, on base, slugging, and OPS since he signed with the Padres a few winters ago. So, I mean, there is a lot of young, fun players in this lineup. There's Salvador Perez, a playoff veteran. He's won a World Series with the Kansas City Royals. He knows what it takes to go the distance. And then there are some talented players on this bench, including platoon player Jason Morton, a former member of the Pittsburgh Pirates, by the way. Morton was traded back in Season 1. He was part of the Francisco Mejia deal, which obviously looks like a massive win for us. Mejia is one of our better players. Looking at their rotation, on the mound in Game 2 will be Mckenzie Gore. He was the top prospect in baseball entering this season and has been average since entering the majors, but he's one of the best prospects in the game. There are 3 lefties in this rotation: Gore, Adrian Morejon, and Joey Lucchesi. That's not good for the Pirates because they play a lot better against righties. Now, to be fair, half of our lineup is like switch hitters, but still, most of those guys are better against right-handers, so that's kind of a move. The Padres' bullpen is probably their weak spot of their team. They do got some talent: Emilio Pagan, Kirby Yates, 2 good relievers. So without further ado, let's end the anticipation and let's get to some playoff baseball. Game 1 of the NLDS here in 2022. Overcast day here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but still a good enough day for some baseball as we take a look out on the field. one of the nicest parks in all of baseball. As here's a quick look at some of the team leaders for both of these squads. Padres finishing the season 90-72, winning the wild card game. Pirates, meanwhile, finishing with a record of 102-60, the top record in the National League. Here's a look at both lineups for today's game. No Benny Lane for Pittsburgh. Bryan Hayes getting the start, mainly because the Pirates are playing a lefty. Benny Lane usually doesn't start against lefties. Usually Bryan Hayes does. So on the mound for the Pirates will be the ace, Jameson Taillon, who's had an incredible season this year. First batter of the game, Tommy Pham, is going to draw a walk on the outside fastball, so the Padres got themselves a base runner. A couple batters later, Pham is trying to steal second, and he's out. Francisco Mejia, part-time ball player, full-time sniper as he guns him down. Here's Fernando Tatis Jr., 1-2 pitch, a little single into center. So that'll put a runner on and 2 outs for one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball, Franmil Reyes, who launches a deep shot into left center field. It'll go over the fence for a home run, and the San Diego Padres are quickly on the board. They now lead it 2-0. Reyes hit 45 home runs in the regular season, second in the National League behind the Pirates' very own Josh Bell. Here's the following batter, Josh Naylor, the first baseman who's had a breakout season for San Diego, chopping gap into right center. That'll be a double. And this game has really started off ugly for Jameson Taillon and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Next batter, Manny Machado, weak dribbler to third. Eduardo Escobar makes the play to end the inning, but still a very successful one for San Diego as they drive in 2. Mckenzie Gore with his first career postseason start for San Diego. Probably first of many. This Padres team has a very bright future. Mckenzie Gore has a chance to be one of the best pitchers in baseball for a long time. First batter of the game for Pittsburgh is Bryan Reynolds, who will open up the day with a single into right. This was the first year in Reynolds' career he hit under 300, but still a pretty solid campaign for him. Eduardo Escobar now draws a walk, so the Pirates quickly got themselves 2 runners on and no outs. Here's Josh Bell, who's had a very decorated career so far with Pittsburgh, but this is his first playoff game. He made his debut in 2016. Remember, their last playoff appearance was 2015 as he grounds into the double play. Following batter, Dylan Carlson goes deep into right field. That ball will curve fair, and that's a home run for Pittsburgh, and we're tied at 2. Dylan Carlson, who had a breakout season for the Pirates, 35 home runs this year, I believe, with his first in the playoffs. And that 2-run lead for San Diego has been shattered. 368 feet off the bat of Carlson, going oppo-popo with that one. Let's move on to the second now. 1 out for Brian Dozier, 2-2 pitch. He's just a window shopper. Say it with me, kids, because he's just looking. Bottom 2 now. Bryan Hayes, the rookie, up at the plate. He's going to get that one to drop into right for a single. And with nobody out, the Pirates got themselves a base runner on. Both offenses are looking quite solid to start this game off. Now the former Padre, Francisco Mejia, up at the plate. Grounds that one to third. 5-4-3 double play. The Padres infield is more chemistry than a science project as we move later into the inning. Following batter, 3-2 count for Oneil Cruz. He will strike out into the inning, keeping the game tied at 2. As we now advance forward to the third inning. Tommy Pham leading this one off, 2-1 pitch, and he rips that one to short. Oneil Cruz with an incredible play, and he's out at first. What a play from Oneil Cruz, the backhanded throw. We got to look at this one again. The defensive play of the series, in my opinion. Oneil Cruz with an incredible play. That's just a phenomenal throw. He looks like Patrick Mahomes there at shortstop. Now let's go to the bottom of the third. Full count pitch for Bryan Reynolds. He already has 1 base hit today. Going to get another one. Another single into right field. So with 1 out, the Pirates got themselves a base runner. 2 gone now for Josh Bell. Grounds that one to second. And he will throw it to shortstop. So this game is still tied at 2 as we advance to the fourth. Franmil Reyes leading things off. He had the home run earlier. Not quite a home run here, but this one looks like it'll be an extra base hit, as that one is going to be grounded into right center. That'll be a double for Franmil Reyes, and the Padres got themselves a runner in scoring position fairly early in the inning. Following batter, Josh Naylor. That ball is high and deep into right. It goes over the fence for a 2-run shot. San Diego now leads this one by a score of 4-2. Definitely a rough start for one of the best aces in baseball, Jameson Taillon. Here is Manny Machado. He strikes out. Machado had a big wild card game, but slow start for him here to open up the NLDS. Bottom 4 now for Bryan Hayes. He gets his second base hit of the game. Good start to the postseason career for Mr. Hayes. So the Pirates got themselves a runner on here for the former Padre, Francisco Mejia. That ball is hit deep into left field. It goes over the head of Tommy Pham. That'll be extra bases. Hayes will stay at third, but still nonetheless, the Pirates now got themselves 2 runners in scoring position for Oneil Cruz. This is an opportunity to change this game up, and Cruz will do just that. Single into center. Hayes and Mejia will both score, and the 2-run single from Oneil Cruz will tie the game up at 4. Right when the Padres get a pair of runs, the Pirates once again answer right back. Now let's move on to the 6th inning now. Here's Franmil Reyes, full count pitch. He strikes out. Jameson Taillon starting to pitch a little bit better. Josh Naylor now up at the plate. He's had a big day today, and he's not going to stop. Naylor gets that one deep and a right. Barely fair, but it is gone. His second home run of the game, and the Padres now lead it 5-4. What a performance for Josh Naylor so far. 3 for 3. 3 RBIs, 2 home runs, and a double. As a couple batters later, actually the next batter, Manny Machado, weak fly out in foul territory. Bell makes the play, and that would end Jameson Taillon's day. 6 innings, 5 earned runs. Not a great start for Jameson Taillon in his playoff debut. Would have liked to have seen him play better. On to the bottom of the 6th now. Mckenzie Gore still in the game here as Dylan Carlson going to lead the inning off with a hit into center field. That one barely drops, but it does. And the Padres are going to make a pitching change. Emilio Pagan is now in. His ERA is 81 so far. He allowed a 3-run home run in the wild card game to former Pirate Logan Hill. As here's Francisco Mejia now with 2 outs. Deep into right, but not deep enough, and it is going to be caught by Franmil Reyes, which will end the inning. Score remains 5-4 as we go to the 7th. Michael Gibbons now in for Pittsburgh. He's had a nice year. This has been an adjustment year for Gibbons. He was mainly a closer in Baltimore, now a middle reliever of the Pirates, and he's been, I would say, a league average, which, considering the inconsistencies of this bullpen, I would count as a success. Leadoff batter, going to hit a single. That is the catcher, Salvador Perez. Here is Brian Dozier now, full count pitch. He draws a walk. San Diego got themselves 2 runners on very quickly here, as now 1 gone for Tommy Pham. Hits that one into right. Nice play by Dylan Carlson to get the out. And now there's 2 away here for the Padres as Trent Grisham will strike out, ending the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Matt Strom is now in for San Diego. He's pitched in 99 games in the regular season, sub-3 ERA. Very solid year for him. As the pinch hitter is up at the plate, Mark Canha, the former Oakland A. And he's going to get that one beautifully into the right center gap. A 1-out double for Canha. And Pittsburgh has another opportunity, potentially drive in some runs and maybe tie this ball game up. 2 gone now for Eduardo Escobar. That ball is hit very high, higher than J.R. Smith during Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals. But not deep enough, and it is going to be caught out in center by Trent Grisham. And we go to the 8th. 5-4 is still the score. So the Fresh Prince of Pittsburgh, Will Smith, now in. Of course, the big trade deadline acquisition. Had a very good year with both the Braves and the Pirates this season, as his inning will be fairly successful. 1, 2, 3 inning from Smith. And now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Kirby Yates is in. Yates was mainly used as the closer this season. I don't know why he's not going to be the closer for the postseason, but okay. Yates is starting to decline a little bit with old age, but still was solid as he strikes out Bo Bichette, ending the inning, and now we go to the 9th. Score remains 5-4. Here's Salvador Perez. He's going to strike out. A couple batters later, Brian Dozier rips a single into center as the Padres try to get some insurance runs late into this game. They're only up by 1, and this game is far from done, so they'd like to score a few more. But they're going to be unable to as Jurickson Profar lines out to first. Bell makes the play, and we go to the bottom of the 9th, where San Diego has a chance to finish this game off and get the win. Andres Munoz is on for the save. Solid year for him, 3.76 ERA, and he can throw hard. He can throw upwards of like 102 miles an hour. First batter of the inning, Bryan Hayes hits a single, and the tying run is on base now for the following batter, Francisco Mejia. Deep into left center field. Does it have the distance? Not quite, but it will drop for an extra base hit. A ground rule double for Mejia, and the winning run is now at second base with no outs. The Padres are going to make the wise move of walking the next batter, O'Neal Cruz, and now the bases are juiced with no outs. There is a force out at all bases, and the Pirates are going to bring Benny Lang on as a pinch hitter. Let's see what he can do. Can Benny Lang finish off this game in his first playoff at bat as a 19-year-old and be the hero? Well, not quite, as the Pirates turn one at second. Pittsburgh scores one, and now it's 5-5. Runners on the corners and one out for Bryan Reynolds, one of the biggest at-bats of his life, and the Padres are going to make a pitching change. Jake Cronenworth is now in for San Diego as he tries to get out of this inning and bring us to extras. 1-1 pitch for Reynolds. That's in the right center, and this game is over. Reynolds with the walk-off single. Mejia tags home, and the Pirates will win the ball game. As soon as that ball went off the bat of Bryan Reynolds, he knew it was over. All he really had to do was get it in the outfield, whether it dropped for a hit or was a sac fly. Mejia would have scored pretty much regardless. And the Pittsburgh Pirates will win Game 1 of the NLDS by a score of 6-5. If this isn't playoff baseball, I don't know what is. Very exciting game here. The Padres hit the ball fairly well. 3 home runs, 1 from Reynolds, 2 from Naylor. Mckenzie Gore was meh. The bullpen was pretty good, other than Andres Munoz basically choking the game away. The Pirates got 12 hits, scored 6. The offense was good today for the most part. Had some guys like Josh Bell and Eduardo Escobar really struggle, but hey, a win's a win. Carlson went deep. He drove in a pair of runs. O'Neal Cruz drove in 2. Lang had an RBI in the 9th, and obviously Reynolds have a walk-off. Will Smith gets the win. Jamison Tyone was kind of underwhelming, but hey, can't complain. A dub's a dub. It's now on to Game 2, still at PNC Park. The Pirates are going to try to really get the upper hand here in this postseason series. Remember, the division series are only a best of 5, so it's the first one to win 3 games. And if Pittsburgh wins this one, then every game after is an elimination game for San Diego. We got Julio Urias on the mound for Pittsburgh, the lefty, who had an up-and-down season, but is still, a good player. Started the year off hot, then kind of cooled down and was pretty much mediocre the rest of the way. So here is Fernando Tatis Jr. Beautiful purple sky, by the way. Have to acknowledge that. As Tatis gonna hit that one into right. Caught by Josh Bell. 1-2-3 inning for Urias. And we go to the bottom of the first here. Cal Quantrill gets the start for San Diego. He was okay this year. 4.62 ERA, 1.54 whip. Not awful, but not great either, but he's still young, like pretty much this whole entire roster. Bryan Reynolds, the hero from the last game, going to lead us off here, and Reynolds draws a walk. Pirates got themselves a base runner. Now here's Dylan Carlson, rips a single into right, and for the second straight game, Pittsburgh will open up with a pair of base runners. That'll bring up Josh Bell. Let's hope he doesn't ground into another double play like last time. That's exactly what happens. Bell grounds into the 4-6-3 double play. Reynolds does advance to third. That brings up Benny Lang, who has a chance to drive in his teammate. Full count pitch. Lang goes deep into right center. It will go near the wall. That'll be an RBI double for Benny Lang. And in both of Lang's at-bats so far in this playoff series, he's driven in runs. Pirates off to an early 1-0 lead on to the second. Jurickson Profar with 2 outs draws a walk. Former top prospect with the Rangers. Kind of is a bust, but is a productive player for San Diego. Inning does come to an end as Josh Naylor grounds out to first. Benny Lang going to throw it to second rather than tagging first. Okay. Now let's go on to the bottom of the inning. O'Neal Cruz going to open things up, drawing a walk. Pittsburgh got themselves an early base runner. Francisco Mejia now up at the plate. He's going to go down on the high heat. I think he expected it to be an off-speed pitch and curve down, but that is not what happened. Bo Bichette now up at the dish. He's going to go down on the 97-mile-an-hour high fastball as we go to the third. There is Tommy. What's good, fam? Get down to the bench. He goes down on the low changeup. Julio Urias has been excellent so far. Now in the bottom of the third, here's Josh Bell, the base hit. His first postseason hit. Took a while. Very slow start to the playoffs for Josh Bell, but hey, does get on base. Here's Benny Lane now. He drove in a run earlier, and he's going to get another base hit as that one gets past the glove of Fernando Tatis Jr., and the Pirates got themselves a pair of runners on and 2 outs for Eduardo Escobar, who has started this postseason off slowly. He does rip a single into right. Bell hesitates, then is going home. The throw is not even close. I mean, Bell was like a very far distance away from home, and he would eventually be tagged out. So, bad base running there from Josh Bell, to say the least. Top of the fourth, the former Pirate, Jason Martin, going to go down on the strikeout. Bottom 4 now, Bo Bichette draws a walk. Kind of a slow start for Bo Bichette here in the postseason as well, but hey, he's on base now. Julio Urias is up. He's one of the better bunting pitchers in baseball, but that was a very bad punt. And Naylor will make the catch as we go to the top of the fifth. Julio Urias pitching a no-hitter so far, but that'll change with one swing of the bat. Manny Machado, the former Baltimore Oriole, goes deep into right center, and this game is tied up at 1. Just like that. And Machado will touch them all. These two guys were teammates, remember, the 2.5 months Manny Machado was with the Dodgers. Here is Jurickson Profar now, going to strike out. I think he swung earlier. I think he swung before the pitch was thrown. And then later in the top of the fifth, that ball gets past Eduardo Escobar. Kind of a weak single. The shift is kind of why that was a base hit, but hey, Padres are certainly not complaining. Salvador Perez now up at the plate. That one will be a nice deflection from O'Neal Cruz. Perez is safe at first, but still a nice defensive play from Cruz, who has looked like a gold glover here in the postseason at short. So now we got runners on second and third, 2 outs. Inning does come to an end as Tommy Pham grounds out. On to the bottom of the fifth, Michael Baez, the long reliever in for San Diego. Cal Quantrill's pitch count was kind of high, but I'm a little bit surprised by this move because Quantrill got an at-bat in the top of the inning, a sacrifice bunt. So I don't know why they had him get an at-bat and then take him right out. That's kind of weird. As here's Bryan Reynolds opening up the inning off with a single. 1 gone down for Josh Bell. He's grounded into a gazillion double plays in this postseason series. Won't this time as he strikes out looking on the low fastball. Nice pitch from Baez. Here's Benny Lane now. He's been the best bat for this Pirate team today. However, he's going to strike out, ending the inning, and we now advance to the top of the sixth. Score still tied at 1. And the Padres are going to open up with a base hit as Fernando Tatis gets the infield single. Once again, good defense from O'Neal Cruz, but Tatis is a little bit too fast. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Franmil Reyes. He's going down fishing. Didn't catch anything with that bait as Urias gets him on the low curveball. Inning does come to an end here as Manny Machado grounds out to third, and this score remains tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Francisco Mejia up with 2 outs. That ball is hit high and deep. Back at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Francisco Mejia with the home run, and the Pirates will take a 2-1 lead. Huge home run from Mejia, getting revenge on the team that traded him over 2 summers ago. Bo Bichette now draws a walk. The inning's not quite over. Pinch hitter up at the plate, it's Mitch Haniger, and that one is lined nicely to second. However, it would be caught by Brian Dozier, but still, good inning as the Pirates take the lead. Jace Fry now going to enter the game here in the 7th inning. Julio Urias pitched very well in this game as Fry's first batter is Jurickson Profar, going to walk on the high cutter. Could have been called a strike, but Angel Hernandez there behind the plate disagrees. 2 outs now for Brian Dozier, the former Minnesota Twins second baseman. He's going to fly out to Eduardo Escobar, who makes the play, and we go to the bottom of the inning. Matt Strahm is now in for San Diego. He pitched pretty well in Game 1. Let's see what he can do here in Game 2 as he gets Dylan Carlson to go down, swinging in the dirt. More blind than Helen Keller. I don't know what he was swinging at. On to the 8th now. Beautiful pitch from Jace Fry. He gets Tommy Pham to go down looking. Jason Morton now, lefty on lefty crime, and Morton goes down looking as well. Jace Fry obviously had an up and down season, but he is looking good today. But the Padres are not going to let this inning end so easily. Here is Fernando Tatis Jr. with a single into center. And the potential go-ahead run is now on first base. Here is Franmil Reyes, 1-2 pitch, and that ball is crushed into left, but not deep enough at the warning track, and it is going to be caught by Dylan Carlson. Well, we now go to the bottom of the 8th. Score is still 2-1. Pirates would do nothing, and we advance to the 9th. Kent Giles on for the save. His first postseason appearance of the year as he strikes Manny Machado out. Machado very unhappy with himself. Following batter, Jurickson Profar gets that one over the head of Giles for a single. And just like that, the tying run is on base, and the potential leading run is up at the plate. It's Dozier, who grounds it to Lang, tags first, throws it to second, and this game is over. The Pirates get the win by a final score of 2-1, and will take a 2-0 series lead here in the National League Division Series. 2 very close games. Pittsburgh only won them each by 1, but hey, a win's a win, and the Pirates are now 1 win away from advancing to the NLCS. Neither lineup really played all that well today. The pitching was very good for both teams. Michael Baez gets the loss for San Diego. He did pitch fairly well for the most part. Julio Urias gets the win for Pittsburgh. He was very good in this one. 6 innings, only allowing 1 run, only allowed like 3 or 4 hits. Home run from Mejia. The other RBI was in the first inning from Benny Ling. And now, just like that, the Padres' backs are against the wall, and the Pirates have a chance to sweep. Here's a look at the rest of the postseason bracket. Currently, the Diamondbacks lead the Nationals 2-0 in the NLDS, so it looks like we could get a NLCS matchup between Pittsburgh and Arizona. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I certainly did. 2 very exciting games of baseball. Next episode will be Game 3 of the NLDS. Can the Pirates sweep San Diego, or will the Padres keep the series alive? Have a good one. Peace.